And so because of that, let's see, why were they downcast? All right. Now, continuing through verse number 18 through verse number 24, verse number 19 through 24, then verse 18 it says that Cleopas asked him, "Are you only a visitor to Jerusalem and don't know the things that have happened in these days?" And Jesus in verse number 19 says, "What things?" And so he goes and he starts to list all the things that have been happening in Jerusalem those last couple of days. And he says, "About Jesus of Nazareth," they replied, "he was a prophet, powerful in word and deed before God and all the people." Now, is that true? Yeah, that's true, isn't it? Jesus was a prophet of God. In fact, Jesus was the prophet of God, prophesied in the Old Testament. Jesus was somebody who was powerful in word and deed before God and all the people. Jesus, when Jesus spoke, people listened to him because he spoke with authority. He was the Word of God, and he is speaking the Word of God. He would have authority now, wouldn't he? And not only that, but all of the deeds, all of the miracles, and all the non-miracles that he did, people realized and understood these things were signs from God. And so, yeah, Jesus was a prophet that was powerful in word and deed before God and all the people. Now, verse number 20. Notice it says this, "The chief priests and our rulers handed him over to be sentenced to death, and they crucified him." True? True. Right? You know, the chief priests did conspire to arrest Jesus. The chief priests did conspire with the Sanhedrin court, the rulers, to go and have a mock trial of Jesus and trump up charges and bring those before Pilate, and then work with Pilate and manipulate Pilate to get Jesus to be crucified on the cross. It was true. Okay? Do you see a little pattern developing here? We see truthful statements, right? Now continuing on down, it says in verse 21, "But we had hoped that he was the one that was going to redeem Israel." What does this mean as far as to redeem Israel? Well, the Messiah was supposed to come, and when the Messiah came, he was supposed to go and he was supposed to take care of the people's sins. He was supposed to go and he is going to usher in a new age of peace, a new age of prosperity, where sins were going to be dealt with, and that righteousness was going to rule and righteousness was going to reign. True? Yeah, that's what the Messiah is going to do. Now, continuing on down, it says, "What is more, it is the third day that all this took place." Now, there's some question about when exactly and what day Jesus was crucified, but there's no question that he was risen on the first day of the week, Sunday. Okay? And so if you say the third day, if you take Friday and say there's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that this is the third day that all of this takes place. Truthful statement. What is more, it says that, or in addition, some of our women amazed us. They went to the tomb early this morning. They didn't find his body. We see that in Matthew, Mark, Luke, that women went to the tomb. Mary Magdalene went and she left, but the other women went. They looked in there. They didn't find his body, but they did find an angel there. And the angel told them that Jesus was resurrected. He arose again as what he had told them would happen. And they went away and told other people. We see this, that it says, they didn't find his body. They came and told us that they had seen a vision of angels who said that he was alive. They came back and they told the other disciples. Peter and John left. John outran Peter, went to the tomb. Then Peter caught up to him. They looked in the tomb. They didn't see it. And so they came, and it says that they found it just as the women had said, but they didn't see him. And this is where these two disciples left. Now I want you to understand that all of this that takes place, that Cleopas had everything right, didn't he? Except the conclusion. He had all the facts there, except he didn't connect the dots. Yeah? And that is, Jesus was a prophet. That Jesus was crucified and delivered over. He didn't deserve it. that Jesus was a Messiah, that we had hoped that the Messiah was going to redeem all these things. It's the third day. By the way, the third day is significant because Jesus said that he was going to be risen on the third day. That the women went, they didn't find his body where we had left it. Gee, what could have happened to it? The angel said that he had been risen. Men went and looked at it and said, yep, we were right. We didn't find him. Didn't find his body. See, all those facts are right. But the conclusion just isn't there. Now, kind of getting back to us. We just don't see everything, do we? There's times that we look at the Word of God, and there are times that we look at our lives, and there are times that we look at where God is leading us through the Word of God, but we just don't see what and where all of this is going, right? And so we've got all these facts. We've got the facts in the Scriptures about how God will never leave us or forsake us. We've got the facts about how we have the leadership of God in our lives, but at the same time, we're sitting there and we're thinking, okay, God, this is what your Word said. This is where I see that you're leading me, and I'm following. I'm doing my best to try to follow you, but it just, right now, I'm just a little bit lost here. And in that confusion, isn't that easy for us to get downcast? I don't understand all this. Well, the problem isn't necessarily the facts. The problem is coming to the conclusions. And why is it that we don't hit those conclusions right? Why is it that they didn't hit those conclusions?